and I've been most places I've never been to. Not as far from the coast as Hawaii is from North America. We're been sailing for the last 4 or 5 days, and are waiting to tender into a port that's really small and hard to get into, so only one tender can come in at a time. As you can see, I'm filming through a window, and so the visibility is not the greatest, but just a minute, we should get there. This is a far corner of Easter Island. It's a triangularly shaped island way off the coast of South America. I'm headed there today. Most people have never ventured here, I guess. I can't say as I expected to myself, but this is the place that most of you know from those big totems you've seen pictures of. It's not a very big island. In fact, the hope today is to cycle around it, or most of it, in one day. And we're just out to see what we can see. It's been populated for about 1,000 years or so, and now its population is crazy small, not as small as it once was, but we're going to go see the folks that are there now. A lot of, over half of them are descended from the original inhabitants. The place is called Rapa Nui. It's what we call Easter Island because the people who found it, the Europeans that found it, arrived here first on Easter. So if you can make your way over here, and there are many places. I mean, a lot of times I go places and it's one and done, but I would definitely come back here. I mean, it's one of those places that's not only, no one goes to it, which means there's not a lot of tourists here, but it's really beautiful. The clear water, I mean, it's not as clear now as it would be if the surf there wasn't such a strong wind today. But look over here, all around this island, when you're driving around, you see not just cows that they need for food, but there's horses, and they run wild all over the island. These are pinned in where I am now, but you'll see them as you drive along. They're just roaming free, eating. You have to be really careful because they'll come right up to the road to eat, and they're just gorgeous. Yeah, this is really something. I never would have thought that there was so much here. You know, the videos I've seen anyway, the kind of reports you get, that those horses don't quite know what to make of me. Anyway, I'll leave them alone. But you get the idea. You want to go someplace that's really beautiful. And I was thinking earlier, like, what if you're stuck? You know, let's say I had been born within the last 1,000 or so years that this place has been occupied. And this was it. I would never leave this island. Not nearly as bad a fate as I originally thought, because, well, there's not a lot of vegetation out here, and I'll come back to that. It's just a gorgeous place to be stuck, so to speak. There's well, I guess I have the time now, because these people up here, I thought were waiting on me, but they're not. So, the idea was, it was been said for the last, I don't know, say generation, popularized by a guy named Jared Diamond. Those of you who read books like Guns, Shoes, and Steel might have run into this already, but he wrote a book called Collapse, and the idea was that in order to put up those totems, the natives had denuded Rapa Nui of trees to transport the totems to where they're standing now. And he used it as a metaphor for environmental collapse. In other words, don't do this to the entirety of Earth, otherwise you won't have the stuff you need, and your population will collapse just like Easter Islands did. Well, it turns out that that's actually not the case. There has been deforestation, whatever, but what caused the collapse of the population here was really the same old story of slave trade, disease, and stuff. And this time, instead of going from Europe to South America, it was from South America to here. So to a large extent, countries like Peru were using these people, taking these people over to other islands to use them as labor. So, just so you know. And just off from that beach, you can come and have a wedding reception. There's also these totems here at Anakena Beach. And if you look, I don't know if you can see it in this photo, this video, but those there, the four on the left, they've got a headdress, and they're kind of reddish. That's what I'm hoping is coming through, where the statues themselves are gray. And that red is a natural pigmentation. They haven't been painted or anything. It's a different type of stone that they stick on top. So and this is one of the ones that you most want to come visit if you get a chance. So this lady is concerned about the barbecue. I better go. I just heard something, and I'm passing it on secondhand, that there's no real coral reef here, and that all the sand is due to that. That the coral dies off in cold months, and that all the sand we see on these beautiful beaches is a result of that. So if you come here, if you're a scuba diver, there is diving, or a snorkeler, you might want to come and see if you can verify that. All right, and right down the road, here's another beautiful part of Easter Island. When you get here, assuming you don't have already prearranged plans, you can rent cars, which I didn't even think of. You can rent motorcycles and scooters. You can rent bikes and e-bikes. Bikes only if you're really fit, because it's hang on, because it's pretty mountainous in parts. So you could ride a regular bike, but just be ready to switch over to an e-bike when things get pretty rough. Because, like I say, if you don't mind spending the day crossing the island, you might even be able to cross it and cross back in a full day. But you're looking at, I'm just guessing, maybe 20 miles across. So if you're the kind of person who can do 20 miles on a bike each way, come out and enjoy something like this. But better still, come out and spend a little bit of time, because once you get up there, we're not allowed to go any farther than this without a guide. That's actually worth mentioning. There's everything here, just about everything, is part of a national park system. So you need to buy a pass for most things, and you need a guide. So if you wanted to go past that gate right there and get a better view than I'm showing you now, you would need to have a guide take you in. So when you get here, if you're going to be here longer than I am today, it's definitely worth paying for. And there's lots of these cute little guys laying around, catching a break from the heat. All right, we're told that because of the salinity of the water around here, they grow crops in these little spots where they hold fresh water. So if you want to grow things here, put them in here with fresh water, and you got the ability to do so. Otherwise, when you're this close to the sea, you're stuck. So they've got hibiscus obviously there, and they said they have taro root here and a few other things that this place will grow, but not when you have this kind of salinity. We got some road construction going on here, and I probably can't stop for long, but look at this. Just out in the middle of nowhere. Nothing but beauty. All right, this is the one that you're most familiar with. It may not seem like it now. Here along the coast, southern coast of the island, the Tongariki is where you see all those folks all lined up like that. You can see, unfortunately there's none right now, people standing off there in the distance. Give you some idea of scale and how big these suckers are. And all the stuff about ancestors protecting them and making a bargain with the living, and they protect them in the afterlife or something like that. But look how beautiful the coastline next to them. Gorgeous. So, and as I was just thinking on the drive here, while one may not go in for all that metaphysical garbage about transcendence into other realms and what lies in the great beyond, when you're on an island like this, it's kind of hard not to think, really, what lies out beyond this? I'm thousands of miles from anywhere. Well, I don't know that, but I know nobody's ever swum and got out of here. It's like the world's biggest Alcatraz. I think you take that stuff seriously. Maybe build a totem or two. Slightly better full frontal view. Like a lineup. What do these guys do? Which one? which one is the ancestor I prefer the most. So you gotta figure it can't just be a one-upmanship on like height. Right? They've definitely done better than that. There's like that one, maybe two that are contenders. So maybe some like the likeness of their ancestors. Maybe they looked less alike to the people who knew them than they do to us. Hard to say. No real attempt to outdo each other. And the only real ornamentation seems to be those things I mentioned earlier that only this guy on the second from the right has. It might have been an indication of criminality. Yeah, that's guilt right there. All right, so here's one. About as up close as you're going to get, or I'm going to get. Little bird on his head. That's kind of what they look like. Pretty passive, docile looking characters. And we're told, and of course I'm too old to recognize this, that Gen Z is now using these as a meme, replacing emojis. I don't know if that's true. There's lots of stuff I'm told that I don't know if it's true, but you see, I guess, an expression of being nonplussed, stone-faced, that kind of thing. That's the idea. This guy just can't be bothered. Pretty place to not be bothered in, though. Let me try that again. I'm not sure you can hear me, but that guy that did a face plant in that last video should have had some kind of talking, so it's probably better without. Having a little technical difficulties, but they really don't matter when you're in a place as beautiful as this. This is another one of the parks, and for the most part, if you're here for a short time, I have found that you don't really need to have a guide and all that if you don't have the time or are strapped for cash. If you're here for a longer time, it's definitely worth getting all the details. It's more than one try to take in and two. It's I would say maybe come here and like do with these kids and just run around and have a good time. But do it for a week. You know, come here and just enjoy yourself. It's I don't know. One of the things I like about traveling the way we've been doing is that you can kind of, it's a little, you know, get a little of this, a little of that, and you see what you like and what you don't. And there's some surprising things. I felt the same way about Uruguay. There's some places you get to and you just think, wow, this is so much better and different than I thought it would be. So in those places you can always come back and have another look. All right, hopefully I've got that worked out. Here is the different type of stone that they were using for headdresses and all that. So as you can see, it's really not a matter of them dyeing it. It's the color of the stone itself. And so this would have been somebody's headdress, or maybe they just didn't dig deep enough and the guy's standing there wearing it. Another thing you won't see in this video, but could see if you had the time to devote and stay here longer, as you can see from the side of this, are petroglyphs. There's a spot in the center of the island that's got some petroglyphs that you have to have a guide to see, because they're kind of faint and it's easy for people, tourists, to mess them up. So, yeah, we'll just see how much we can see in the time allotted. I mean, that's the game, right? So, you know, this is one of the spots people were getting these rocks, and you know, if you got to work all day out in the sun, this is a pretty nice spot to do it in. And one of the things you'll notice is that, I mean, because it's protected by or may belong to Chile, you hear a lot of Spanish, mostly Spanish. And that surprised me, because I was sort of expecting there to be a Polynesian language spoken here. I believe there is, but it's in the minority. And of course, because it's a tourist spot, you get a lot of English, and I've heard a little bit of everything around here, so it seems to be one of those places that appeals to everyone, since it's all the Rapa Nui stuff is older than most Western cultures. Here's one that they were starting. You can see there on the right, they had the ahu set up, and then one fallen statue just to the left there. But, you know, you can't win them all. But they were definitely setting that thing up in a really nice spot. You can see what I mean. That not exactly Spanish. Well, let's go down and see what this part of the coastline has to offer. So as you can see, if I can do this without falling to my death, this area here is really, really beautiful. We're at low tide, but it's just, the whole place is just volcanic and gorgeous. All right, and the fun doesn't stop there. You can see that this continues on. You get all of this beautiful, beautiful coastline. As far as you can see, I'm going to try to see if I can walk through this thing. It's not exactly an easy passage, but the whole thing is this kind of deal. You have these grottos that go back up in there. Ooh, baby. Just beautiful.